If you clicked on this video, you're probably interested in these three things: spline, screen frame, and screen. And that's probably because you got some rescreening to do. So before we jump outside and actually do some rescreening, let's take a look at how this system actually works at the smaller level. This is screen frame. This is the cross section. And what you see here is you see the spline groove, and there's a nice flat side of that. This is the screen spline. This is flat spline that we use. And so the way this works is that flat edge of that flat spline lines up directly with that flat edge of the screen frame. And of course you got the screen that goes in there. And what you do is you just basically line it up. Typically you would try to line it up across the edge right here, especially when you're outside on a large scale. And you would take that flat part of that spline, put it face down and inside, and you're just gonna push it in, just like that, get it started. Always trying to keep the screen straight. It's a little harder actually at this smaller level because I've got to hold it all together. Outside it tends to be a little easier. And then with a convex roller, which is just the pointy side, you just roll this back edge in, just like that, and it goes right in. And then you just continue all the way across as you go, and it rolls it in nice and tight. Now let's jump outside and see how this is done on a grand scale, and we'll show you how we rescreen. All right, so we're outside, and as you can see, the screening on this section of screen is completed. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna show you how we went ahead and did that. And what we used these screen spline clips. They clip right into the groove of the screen frame, and they hold the screen in all the way around as you're going step by step and putting the spline into the grooves. And it's a 4-step process, so let's just jump right in. What we do first is we lay out the screen on the ground, and we are cutting it about 6 inches extra on each side. Step 2, clip it on using these clips. So we put a lot more on the top, put a couple around just to hold it into place. Step 3 will be to spline, and the way we're doing it is we're splining from the top center out each direction, get that top spline in, then we'll go from top left down, top right down, and then we'll go from center bottom splining out each direction. We are leaving the corners 6 inches pretty much at each corner unsplined, and then at the very end we'll finish up that spline to make it nice and tight. So we've got the top, right, and left side rolled in. We're trying to keep the left side, which was the second side, to do real tight. And we're not using the clips on this side. Instead, we're stretching it using our fingers and pushing it against the wall as we're rolling the spline in. The whole bottom rail needs to be pulled taut, and so what we've been doing is we're sliding our hand along, leading the roller about 6 to 8 inches depending, and trying to just pull it gently tight, and then just not even putting the spline into the reel except for at the very beginning, and just rolling the pointy end of the roller on the back side. So you'll just roll it on this bottom side and it'll pull that spline right in. Try to give you an example of it. Only working with one hand. See how it just kind of pulls it right into the groove. So now that we've got the whole bottom rolled in all the way to the corners, and we've got all the edges rolled in except for the last 6 inches, we'll go ahead and push those last 6 inches in, and we'll just cut it to size, stretch it down, and then just push it in. The only thing left to do to clean it up is to cut off all this extra screening and make it look very professional. And so what we'll do is we'll just use a straight edge blade. We're gonna stick it right on that upper portion of the spline, and we're just gonna glide along ever so gently. We're just gonna go nice and slow and methodical, and we're gonna make sure that we don't cut into this brand new screen field that we put in and mess it all up. In the corners, we're just gonna basically connect the cut from one spline to the other, jump over this rail in here. Since the spline, we don't notch into that or cut into that, we just basically end the 2 splines in the rails. And this section is complete. All the spline has been installed and the edges have been trimmed, and this screen is nice and tight. All right, so that wraps up this video. And if you've stuck around this long, you've probably gotten some value, so please subscribe. And as always, good luck.